Hello Stardust, I'm Crystel and welcome to my universe. This is a speed-up video of the process of creating the Blue Lotus, an acrylic painting on canvas paper. Enjoy watching how this painting comes to life, and along with the video I will share the story and some interesting facts about the Blue Lotus, the flower and the painting. I made this painting in December 2022 and showcased it for the first time in the Growing Roots exhibition. I started the painting with a detailed geometric grid, dividing the paper into a centered symmetry that revolves around many axes. I was tracing shapes that appeared to me from the grid, inspired by what I see unfolding in front of me, with no final destination in mind. Then I started putting the main colors, shades of blue, magenta, and all the purples in between. I experimented further with the brush technique that I used in the last video with the two paintings, A Spell for Growth and A Spell for Beauty, which can be called pointillism. This time focusing more on the subtle gradients from the midtones into shadows and highlights, with a selective color palette compared to the last two paintings. I first heard about the Blue Lotus from a friend of mine when I was working on a tattoo design a couple months before I started with this painting. I did some research back then about the Blue Lotus, from history to symbolism. The Blue Lotus I incorporated in the tattoo design at the time was inspired by the ancient Egyptian drawings of the Blue Lotus. The Blue Lotus flower is also known as the Blue Egyptian Lotus, Blue Water Lily, and Sacred Blue Lily, for it was famous in the ancient Egyptian culture and was showcased in manuscripts and drawings. It is present in the Tutankhamun tomb, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, and many other places, which led to the theory that ancient Egyptians used the Blue Lotus for healing and shamanistic rituals. It was a sacred plant for the ancient Egyptians that symbolizes creation. It only flowers once a year, opens for just 3 days, and only while the sun is up, to close back again at night. The flower was then strongly associated with the rising and the setting of the sun, and thus to the god of the sun, Ra, who was born out of the lotus. In Egyptian mythology, the god Horus was also often depicted holding a blue lotus in his hand. The Blue Lotus is also held sacred in the Buddhist and Hindu ancient writings. It is shown closed as a symbol for Mahayana Buddhists to describe the potential of beings to realize their inherent Buddha nature, which can then blossom into full bodhisattvahood. According to Deepa Sundaram, PhD, lotus flowers in Hinduism represent the womb of the universe, from which all things are born, as well as overcoming adversity. The lotus flower also represents connection to the universal soul. The rare blue lotus is used to worship the Hindu god Shiva. It is also believed that the lotus flowers clean the water it thrives in. The lotus, usually grown from muddy lakes, which is a symbol of purity and transcendence, as well as spiritual purification and liberation. The Blue Lotus was also associated with the dream state and the dream realm, and reaching higher states of consciousness. The flower has compounds that can transport individuals into a state of calmness and relaxation. This is helping many people nowadays to get better sleep and deal with anxiety and insomnia. Although the studies about the Blue Lotus flower are very limited, for it is a rare flower, there is, however, a documented experiment that was done with 2 volunteers under supervision by experts that consumed wine infused with the Blue Lotus flowers, as it is suspected to have been consumed in ancient Egypt. Both volunteers reported feeling more relaxed, more chatty and talkative, as well as increased awareness and sensuality. Although the plant is very rare, it is being sold nowadays in most countries. Today, Blue Lotus flower is used as a sleep aid and anxiety reliever, but has also been described as a mild stimulant. Anecdotal evidence suggests that the Blue Lotus flower tea can ease the cramps and also stabilize the menstrual cycle. Blue Lotus flower can be purchased primarily as tea extract or incense. The Food and Drug Administration, FDA, labels the flower as poisonous, yet doesn't classify it as a controlled substance. This means that you can legally purchase Blue Lotus teas, incense, and oils, except if you're in Poland, Russia, or Latvia. After I did this research, another friend contacts me a few days later and gives me some dried flowers of the Blue Lotus tea. I was still in the process of creating this painting. I tried the Blue Lotus tea, which had very mild effects of relaxation. However, I have noticed that my dreams were much more vivid. I could remember in details and in color most of the dreams in the next morning. And until that time, I still did not have a name for the painting. Until I noticed towards the end that not only does it look like a blossoming lotus, but also I have used the exact color variations of the Blue Lotus petals. And that is how it all came together. And what's interesting is that while painting, because it was mostly technical, the process was very relaxing and meditative for me, just like coloring a mandala. The creation of the painting was done in the same state of mind that the Blue Lotus provides, which is a beautiful link between art and nature's medicines, as art is one of the ways that help me to be more present, aware, and calm. The Blue Lotus was designed to do just that. And while it has been forgotten for a while, we are now going back to learn from the wisdom of our ancestors, from one of the greatest and most spiritual and advanced cultures that ever walked this earth. We are now trying to unfold their secrets and understand their ways, and to this day, the secrets remain many. I learned a lot from my mother about all different types of herbs and flowers that we used to gather from around the house and use for tea, food, and medicine. And each one has its specific benefits. I still to this day choose the herbs for my daily tea based on what my body needs. And the more we understand nature's tools, the more we can heal our minds and bodies with these sacred plants, these gifts from Mother Nature that, unlike many pharmaceuticals, have no negative side effects to our bodies. I am not against Western medicine, but I do believe that we have forgotten most of the ancient ways that our ancestors discovered and used for a long time. So why not get the best of both worlds? And so I dedicate this painting for these ancient cultures and to nature that inspired them through the magic Blue Lotus. This painting is a small appreciation token from my part for this beautiful culture, flower, and symbol. An appreciation of the beauty of the Blue Lotus, for its willingness to share with us her secrets, for teaching us to be patient and calm, for being the art that rises in the muddy waters, for being a reminder of the cycle of life and death, of rising and setting, of knowing when to be open and when to close. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by clicking the like button. I would love to hear from you, so leave a comment with your thoughts about the subject and subscribe for more art, thoughts, and stories. Stay beautiful like a lotus in a mud lake. Till next time.